अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं हूं ओवैस मंगलवाला और आप देख रहे हैं वर्ल्ड वाइज, दुनिया को देखने का, जांचने का, परखने का एक अलग जाविया। सबसे पहले नजर डालते हैं आज की टॉप स्टोरीज पर। भारतीय क्रिकेटर्स मैदान छोड़कर भाग गए, वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप ऑफ लेजेंड्स में पाक भारत मैच मनसूख। इजरायली फौज इसराइला के नाम से एक नए मकाम की तैयारी में मसरूफ। ये मकाम क्या है? वियतनाम के सयाहती इलाके में कश्ती डूब गई, 8 बच्चों समेत 34 अफराद हलाक। पाकिस्तानियों ने 2023 में ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग पर 10 अरब 42 करोड़ डॉलर खर्च कर डाले। और सुपर पावर कौन, चीन या अमेरिका? टॉप स्टोरीज आपने देखी नाजरीन। अब बढ़ते हैं खबरों की तफसील की तरफ और सबसे पहले बात करते हैं वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप ऑफ लेजेंड्स की। ये क्रिकेट टूर्नामेंट इस वक्त बरतानिया में हो रहा है। पहला मैच इसका हुआ जिसमें पाकिस्तान और बरतानिया आमने सामने थे। पाकिस्तान ने बरतानिया को 5 रन से शिकस्त दी और पाकिस्तान का जो दूसरा मैच था, भारत का पहला मैच, पाकिस्तान का दूसरा मैच, पाकिस्तान और भारत ने आमने सामने होना था आज इतवार के दिन, लेकिन ये मैच कैंसिल कर दिया गया। अब इसके पीछे क्या कहानी है? इसके पीछे कहानी है सिर्फ और सिर्फ भारत का डर और भारत की हठधर्मी और भारत का एक जिसको कहते हैं कि निचले तरह की जो सोच है भारत की, वो है सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस मैच के कैंसिल होने की वजह। क्योंकि भारत के बारे में हमने हमेशा देखा है कि जब भी पाकिस्तान की बात होती है, भारत जो है वो हमेशा पाकिस्तान को क्रिकेट की दुनिया में नुकसान पहुंचाने की कोशिश करता है और चाहता है कि पाकिस्तान में क्रिकेट ना हो, पाकिस्तान से क्रिकेट वो नहीं खेलने का ऐलान करता है, टूर्नामेंट्स को ख़राब करता है। ये सारी बातें सारी दुनिया के सामने हैं और अब वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप ऑफ लेजेंड्स जो WCL एक टूर्नामेंट है, एक जिसमें पाकिस्तान के, भारत के, वेस्ट इंडीज़, साउथ अफ्रीका, इंग्लैंड वगैरह ये जो मुल्क हैं इनके पुराने खिलाड़ी खेलते हैं। इस टूर्नामेंट को भी भारत ने ख़राब कर दिया और भारत ने ये ऐलान किया, भारत के 5 खिलाड़ी हैं जिन्होंने ये ऐलान किया कि अगर पाकिस्तान की टीम में शाहिद आफरीदी खेला या पाकिस्तान की टीम में शाहिद आफरीदी जो है वो ग्राउंड में भी नज़र आए तो हम ये मैच नहीं खेलेंगे। अब ये जो ऐलान था इसने ज़ाहिर है स्पॉन्सर्स को भी नुकसान पहुंचाया, इसकी वजह से फिर नेगोशिएशंस हुई, लेकिन ये जो भारतीय खिलाड़ी थे, 5 भारतीय खिलाड़ी, ये नहीं माने और आखिरकार जो मैनेजमेंट थी WCL की उन्होंने इस मैच को ही कैंसिल कर दिया। तो ये एक धचका जो है वो क्रिकेटिंग की दुनिया को पहुंचाया भारत के इन 5 खिलाड़ियों ने। और ये 5 खिलाड़ी कौन हैं? शेखर धवन है इनमें सुरेश रैना है, इनमें यूसुफ पठान है, इनमें इरफान पठान है और इनमें शामिल हैं हरभजन सिंह। ये 5 वो खिलाड़ी हैं कि जिन्होंने हमेशा पाकिस्तान की तज़लील करने की कोशिश की है। इन्होंने हमेशा भारत में जो सियासत को क्रिकेट में इन्वॉल्व किया जाता है उसकी तरफदारी की है और ये वो लोग हैं कि जो कि क्रिकेट की दुनिया में एक जिनको अगर कलंक कहा जाए तो गलत नहीं होगा। ये थी सबसे बड़ी खबर जो कि ये मैच है अब ये नहीं होगा। खैर बहरहाल इस खबर से आगे बढ़ते हैं और आपको लेकर जाते हैं खित्ता फ़लस्तीन की तरफ, जहां से कुछ खबरें सामने आ रही हैं जो कि बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है। सबसे पहली खबर तो यह है कि जी हमास की तरफ से एक बयान सामने आया है और उसमें उन्होंने बहुत दो टोक, बहुत वाज़ेह अल्फाज में कह दिया है कि मुस्तकिल जंग बंदी की तरफ अगर पेशरफ्त नहीं होती तो फिर हम किसी किस्म का इजराइल से मुआहदा नहीं कर सकते। और उन्होंने ये भी कहा है कि अगर इजराइल अपनी ज़िद पे कायम रहा और मुस्तकिल जंग बंदी इजराइल ने नहीं की तो फिर हम जो भी आर्जी मुआहदे हैं उनमें नहीं जाएंगे और ये जो 10 कैदियों के हवाले से बात हो रही है उनकी रिलीज़ के हवाले से वो भी हम नहीं करेंगे। दूसरी तरफ जो इसराइली फ़ौज है उसके गज़ा पर हमले जारी हैं और अब एक और चीज़ सामने आई है, वो ये है कि इजराइल और शाम इन दोनों के दरमियान जो है वो जंगबंदी भी हो चुकी है। और सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़, इजरायली फ़ौज जो है वो एक नया मकाम जो है वो बना रही है, एक नई कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रही है और इस कंस्ट्रक्शन का नाम है इजराइला। बड़ी ख़ास कंस्ट्रक्शन है ये इजराइला। अब ये क्यों की जा रही है, आइए इस रिपोर्ट में देखते हैं।
फ़लस्तीन हो ईरान या शाम, इसराइल ने मशरिक़ वस्ता को जंगों में धकेल दिया। खित्ते को आग लगाकर अब इसराइल को अपनी फ़िक्र सताने लगी। इसराइली फौज इजराइला नामी एक नए मकाम की तैयारी में मसरूफ। ये जगह इसराइल के रिहायशी इलाकों के करीब किसी भी मुमकिन हमले को रोकने के लिए बतौर दिफाई लाइन डिजाइन की गई है। इजरायली अखबार यरूशलेम पोस्ट में इंकशाफ सामने आ गया। इसराइला बैत हानून, बैत लाहिया, जबालिया की बुलंदियों और गजा शहर पर स्ट्रेटेजिक नजारा फराहम करता है। दूसरी तरफ गजा में इसराइली फौज की जारियत न थम सकी। काबिज फौज ने मुख्तलिफ इलाकों पर फजाई हमले करके मजीद 104 फलस्तीनियों को शहीद कर दिया। इसराइल की नीयत भांपते हुए हमास ने मुज़ाकरात के लिए नई शर्त रख दी। मुस्तकिल जंग बंदी के बगैर आर्जी मुआहदा मुमकिन नहीं, हमास ने वाजे कर दिया। हमास के तर्जुमान अबू उबैदा ने कहा है कि हमास गजा में मौजूद कैदियों की रिहाई और मुस्तकिल जंग बंदी मुआहदे की मुसलसल पेशकश कर रहा है, लेकिन इसराइल इनकार कर चुका। अबू उबैदा ने मजीद कहा कि अगर दुश्मन बदस्तूर जिद करता रहा तो फिर हम आर्जी मुआहदों की जमानत नहीं दे सकते।
अगली खबर की तरफ बढ़ते हैं और आपको लेकर चलते हैं वियतनाम की तरफ, जहां का एक बड़ा मशहूर सयाहती इलाका है, उसका नाम है हेलोंग बे। और हेलोंग बे में समुद्री तूफान की वजह से एक कश्ती डूबी है, जिसकी वजह से 34 लोग हलाक हुए हैं और इन 34 में 8 बच्चे भी शामिल थे। अब ये जो सारे सयाह हैं, इनमें से बहुत सारे सयाह ऐसे हैं कि जिनका ताल्लुक जो है वो हनोई से था, और इस कश्ती का नाम था वंडर सी। और वंडर सी जो है उस पर 48 मुसाफिर थे और 5 लोग थे जो कि अमले के अफराद थे। और ये कश्ती जो है वो बेसिकली हलांग बे की सैर पर निकली थी और फिर तूफ़ान जो है उसमें फंसी और उसकी वजह से फिर ये डूबी। हादसे के फ़ौरन बाद जो रेस्क्यू जो टीमें थी वो वहाँ पर पहुँच गई और उन्होंने 12 अफराद को ज़िंदा बचाया और 34 अफराद जो थे उनकी लाशें निकाली गई हैं। और एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात इसमें सामने आई है कि चंद घंटे ज़ेर आब रहने के बाद एक 14 साल के लड़के को भी जो रेस्क्यू टीमें हैं उन्होंने बचा लिया है। वो जो कहते हैं ना कि जब कि मौत जो है वो तो खुदा के हाथ में ही है और जिसे अल्लाह रखे उसे कौन चखे। तो हलोंग बे जो है वो बेसिकली जो दारुल हुकूमत है हनोई, उससे तकरीबन 200 किलोमीटर दूर ये एक सयाहती इलाका है। वियतनाम का बड़ा मशहूर मकाम है ये, और अक्सर यहाँ पर कश्तियाँ जो हैं वो सयाहती जो पर्पज़ के लिए इस्तेमाल होती हैं, और अब वहाँ पर ये एक अफसोसनाक वाक़या पेश आया है। आगे बढ़ते हैं जी और आपको लेकर चलते हैं दुबई की तरफ, जहां पर एक बड़ा ख़ास ऐलान हुआ है और वो तमाम लोग जो कि शादी करने वाले हैं वो तमाम लोग इस ऐलान से बड़े खुश हैं। दुबई में ऐलान ये किया गया है कि जिसकी भी शादी होगी उसे 10 दिन की ऑफिशियल लीव, जो भी उसका काम है, जो भी उसका ऑफिस है, वो दी जाएगी। 10 दिन की ऑफिशियल पेड लीव जो है वो हर उस शख्स के लिए जो कि दुबई में इस वक्त मौजूद है और वो शादी करेगा। ये ऑफिशियल अनाउंसमेंट हुई है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, बड़ी खुशी की अनाउंसमेंट है। लोग काफ़ी खुश हैं जिनकी शादियाँ होने वाली थी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जी 10 दिन की छुट्टी मिलेगी। अब इसकी तफसील क्या है, अली हैदर भुट्टा हमारे जो नुमाइंदे हैं दुबई से वो हमें बता रहे हैं। जी अली, बताइएगा।
जी ओवैस, सिचुएशन इस तरह से है कि दुबई में जो सरकारी मुलाजमीन हैं उनकी छुट्टियों के हवाले से नया हुक्मनामा आ गया है। दुबई के जो फरमारवा हैं और यूएई के नायब सदर जनाब मोहम्मद बिन राशिद अल मकतूम, उन्होंने ये हुक्मनामा जारी किया है कि सरकारी मुलाजमीन को शादी के मौका पर 10 छुट्टियाँ दी जाएंगी। और ये हुक्म जो है माँ सिवाय उन अहलकारों के या उन सरकारी ओहदेदारों के जो फ़ौज में काम करते हैं, फ़ौज में काम करने वालों के अलावा जो बाकी के लोग हैं जो सरकारी मुलाजमत करते हैं, उन्हें शादी के मौका पर 10 छुट्टियां दी जाएंगी। इस हवाले से ये भी कहा गया है कि जो फ़ौजी अहलकार हैं, जो फ़ौज में काम करने वाले सरकारी मुलाजमीन हैं, उनको अगर छुट्टी के दौरान नागुज़ीर हालात में वापस बुलाया जाएगा तो उसके बाद जो है उनकी बाकी मानदा छुट्टियाँ जो हैं वो उसे दी जाएंगी। तो इस हवाले से ख़बर फ़िलहाल ये है कि सरकारी मुलाजमीन के लिए 10 छुट्टियों का ऐलान किया गया है और उन्हें वापस ना बुलाने का हुक्म भी दिया गया है कि अगर वो छुट्टी पे हैं तो उन्हें वापस ना बुलाया जाए। और इस हुक्म का मेन जो मकसद था वो ये था कि जो सरकारी मुलाजमीन हैं उनकी जो ख़ानदानी ज़िंदगी है उसको भी बेहतर बनाया जा सके।
बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करेंगे अली हैदर भुट्टा, हमारे नुमाइंदे दुबई से हमारे साथ मौजूद थे, तफसील से उन्होंने आगाह किया हमें। और एक आखिर में ख़बर मैं आपको देना चाहूँगा जाते जाते, बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग ख़बर है। कुछ फिगर्स हैं जो कि हमारे सामने आए हैं और ये फिगर्स ऐसे हैं कि आप जब इन्हें सुनेंगे तो आपके होश उड़ जाएंगे। एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक है, उसने साल 2023 में पाकिस्तान का जो डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम है उसकी एक रिपोर्ट जारी की है। और बेसिकली उस रिपोर्ट में ये बताया गया है कि पाकिस्तानियों ने ऑनलाइन कितने डॉलर्स की स्पेंडिंग की। जी, ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग पर पाकिस्तानियों ने जो अमाउंट खर्च किया है वो सुनकर आपके होश उड़ जाएंगे। ये अमाउंट है पूरे 10 अरब 42 करोड़ डॉलर। 10 अरब 42 करोड़ डॉलर जो हैं वो पाकिस्तानियों ने साल 2023 में ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग पे खर्च किए हैं, और इसमें जो है वो तकरीबन 10.5 अरब डॉलर्स में से 5 अरब 45 करोड़ डॉलर जो हैं उनकी मसनूआत ख़रीदी गई थी, जबकि 4 अरब 30 करोड़ डॉलर जो हैं वो सर्विसेज लेने में खर्च किए गए। और जो सब्सक्रिप्शन मीडिया है उसके भी बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग फिगर्स हैं, जो मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म की सब्सक्रिप्शंस ली जाती हैं। सब्सक्रिप्शंस पर पाकिस्तानियों ने साल 2023 में 59 करोड़ डॉलर खर्च किए हैं मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म की सब्सक्रिप्शंस लेने में। अच्छा, सबसे ज़्यादा ख़रीदारी हुई है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की मसनूआत पे, और 3.25 अरब डॉलर की मसनूआत ख़रीदी गई। फिर फ़ैशन पर 1 अरब 6 करोड़ डॉलर पाकिस्तानियों ने ऑनलाइन स्पेंडिंग की है। उसके बाद जी ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं 32 करोड़ डॉलर उन पर खर्च किए गए, और 17 करोड़ डॉलर खाने पर खर्च किए गए, और 11 करोड़ डॉलर खर्च हुए जी दवाओं पर। उसके बाद जब सर्विसेज की बात आती है तो उसमें 2 अरब 30 करोड़ डॉलर जो है वो एयर टिकट्स के लिए खर्च हुए, 24.5 करोड़ डॉलर जो है वो ट्रेन टिकट्स के लिए खर्च हुए, 29 करोड़ डॉलर जो है वो किराए की गाड़ियाँ रेंट कार सर्विसेज पर खर्च हुए, 69 करोड़ डॉलर होटल्स पर खर्च हुए, और 62 करोड़ डॉलर जो पैकेज हॉलीडेज़ होते हैं उन पर खर्च हुए। ये सारे फिगर्स जो हैं वो सामने आए हैं, और ये है जी पाकिस्तानियों की अय्याशियाँ और पाकिस्तानियों की online spending. We will be talking about a very important, a very interesting, and a pressing debate that is happening all around the world these days. Is it the United States of America, or is it China who is dominating the world? There are people who say that USA is dominating the world, but there are also groups that who say that USA is a matter of the past now, and China has now taken over the world. To talk about the Chinese perspective of world dominance, we are joined by Li Jingjing. She is a political analyst. She's joining us from Beijing, China. Hello, Li. Welcome to the show. Good evening.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start the discussion with the concept of world dominance. What do you think about world dominance today, in today's scenario in the world? And is it achieved technologically? Is it achieved militarily? Is it achieved economically or ideologically?
I think it's a combination of all of them. And in terms of the world dominance, take a look at the world we're living in right now. Basically, the world where we have been living in, are still living in, is the Western dominant world order. And why I say it's a combination of all of them. First, it's coercion through economy. For example, nowadays, I know many countries in the developing world already said goodbye to colonialism, but colonialism never really left. Through the current world financial system, through using dollar as the global reserve currency. So what US-led Western world is been able to draining the wealth from the global south countries, from developing countries. So keeping the developing country at the bottom of global value chain, and you keep buying, you only produce low value added products. You keep buying high value products from the Western world, from the developed world, and the developed world, with all this wealth drained from the developing world, gained this technological superior position. So now they're able to choke developing countries with their technology. So through the economy and technology dominance, they're able to keep the developing countries at the bottom. But then we have been witnessing several country leaders trying to change that. In the African continent, in Latin American continent, in Asian continent, many world leaders trying to stop this unbalanced trade order, financial order. But then we saw many of them being assassinated, overthrown through this military coercion. As we know, US-led NATO, US itself has 900 military bases across the world. NATO is a strong military alliance. And through this military coercion, if anybody is trying to challenge this Western economic and technological dominance, then they're going to use military forces. And then, of course, ideologically is also a key part. through, we call it like information warfare or soft power, that keep painting this beautiful dream of Western style democracy, or like beautiful dream, like you need to follow our style of economy or governance. If not, then you want like your inferior position, and that kind of information warfare polluted the minds of many people within that country. So people within the country, like the people, start to believing this propaganda, this information warfare, and start to say maybe you're in a random country in Asia, but somehow you think the United States or UK is the best country, best governance in the world, and you don't follow whatever your government regulations or rules, which is benefiting your life, your country. But so this is like ideological warfare, but then it's very effective because it's cheap. The Western countries, many Western countries, don't need to use military, don't need to go to hot wars, just by using their media. Soft power is enough to influence people's mind to believe in their propaganda. So I think the world dominance, especially the current Western dominance that we all believe in, is through all four of them.
So, Lee, you spoke about the United States of America and how it has negatively impacted on almost all the countries of the world. So, now, today, if we look at the United States of America, we see that Trump is there, he's ruling the USA, and he is trying to rewrite the concept of global dominance, and he's trying to start a new kind of a world order. So what do you think about it, this whole MAGA campaign, make America great again, and not being involved in any war, and focusing on United States of America? So what do you think is this new world order, and how is China responding to it, and what is the impact on the world?
Okay, so good question. I think the USA is not trying to change the world order. I think USA is panic about the change of the current world order. The US-led West is panicking about the change. The change is currently the world order is the Western dominance, the Western hegemony, basically. And the USA is, as NATO's leader said, their daddy. This their word, not my word. The Europe, NATO called it the US as a daddy. Basically, we are living in this US hegemony. And it has been this case for decades, for hundreds of years. But now, since past few years, we start to see a change. This changes the developing countries, global South countries, are catching up economically, militarily, and among all those developing countries, China is one, and there are many other countries in this group, such as Brazil. Many countries are catching up, and many countries realize what I mentioned in your first question, that we have been living in such an unfair world order, financial order, because why the developing countries are being draining their resources, draining their wealth, draining their like talents. So why the developing countries are denied the rights to develop. So we've seen the change of global South demanding more equal world order, where the developing countries have much bigger say at the world stage. And China's economy is developing rapidly, as we all see. And not just economy, we're seeing China's technology is catching up. China is able to develop a cutting edge AI technology with a much lower cost. Got the entire Silicon Valley panicked. And so all these changes are threatening in Western alliances' eyes, is threatening to their global hegemony. So whatever they are doing now is like how to say, last bite of a snake. They trying to save the declining empire. They try doing whatever they can, launching wars, exacerbating conflicts in different parts of the world, trying to continue to divide every part of the world to maintain their hegemony. So I think they're not trying to they're not trying to change the world order. They are trying to maintain the old world order where Western countries are the hegemony. So how is China and other countries are developing? We take a look at, how about we just take a look at a major event that just happened a few weeks ago in Brazil, which is the annual BRICS Summit. BRICS Summit, BRIC is the acronym for Brazil, China, India, Russia, and South Africa. And now that we have more partner countries joining this new multilateralism organization, where everybody is an equal partner. And what China is doing, China is just simply developing itself economically, technologically, and also China is encouraging all developing countries, all its friends, all global South countries, let's develop together. We saw that through the Belt and Road Initiative. Pakistan is one of our partners and the close allies and brothers, and there are many projects in Pakistan that benefit local people. And same story is happening across different continents, Latin America, Africa. And I myself traveled to different countries to see some of these projects myself. And when I talked to local people, all of them said, ever since we joined the Belt and Road Initiative, we start to have our first ports, airplanes, and roads, high-speed rails, hospitals, schools, all the things that benefit local people. So China is saying, let's all develop together. Let's make our voice bigger at a world stage, because we need to build a community, a human community for all mankind. And the past order was not fair to all of us.
Okay, so can we say that officially it is an official stated policy of China to counter the dominance of United States of America? And we see that there are two different types of ways. For example, if we talk about the United States of America, we see that it has tried to become a superpower by the use of military, by wars, by military bases. And if we look at China, China has got a totally different mechanism, a totally different path. It has focused on economic development of countries, and that is how it wants to emerge as a superpower. Is this the case?
Yeah, I think, in a way, it's true. It's very funny whenever you turn on the West mainstream media, you listen to, say, a US government official, senators. They always talk about how belligerent China is. They always talk about how dangerous, how much a threat China is. That is so not true, because if we look at the military bases in the world, United States itself has 900 military bases across the world. And they always attack China increase its military spendings. But United States military spending is bigger than the next 10 countries combined. The United States is number one, and its military spending is bigger than the next 10 countries combined. So who is really the threat? Who is really coercing the world with their military power? If we look at numbers, it's definitely the United States and NATO. They always come to the Pacific Ocean to talk about how dangerous China is. But then we need to ask why the United States would travel for 8,000 miles to the ocean in front of China to be a peacemaker, to introduce world peace. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, where are they? In Asia. So this is the mentality, but they are like a wolf crying wolf. They are the one really dangerous. But then look at some of the realities. When I say China is a peaceful rising, we have concrete results to see. First, let's see the track records. When we say wars, in the existence of over 200 years, how many wars the United States participated? Hundreds of wars, nonstop. But you look at how many wars China participated. No wars at all in the past 40 years. So this is a track record. You can find it. And then if you talk to people in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, those countries have joined the Belt and Road Initiative. You ask them, do you think China is dangerous? Did China coerce you to participate in this? Did China force you to buy stuff from them? They all said no. Like, it's very racist for some Western countries to assume we don't know what's the best for us. And those country leaders saying we choose to work with China because we can say no to their offer. When we say, oh, this offer maybe not the best, and then China said, okay, there's no regime change, no color revolution, they will go back and come up with a better plan. Do you like this offer? So this is that. This is the reality. So, and why it's important to have such a peaceful development, because only when you have peace, you can grow economy.
And what do you think about the future of the relationship between United States of America and China, especially with the second term of Donald Trump ruling the United States of America, and with all this tariff war going on?
I don't think it doesn't matter whether it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden or say Jack Trump, Mike Trump. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing, same ruling elites from the United States that already that have been seeing China as the strategic rival. So no matter who is the president, I think they will take the same measures against China. But it doesn't matter to China, because what made China's success story available that could be possible is because China focuses on developing itself. For example, we can say, the China so far probably is the only country that escaped this trap. This trap that the Western countries have sat on is just keep developing countries at the bottom of global value chain. You only export your cheap natural resources to us, export your wealth to us. You only make low value added products. Well, we will never teach you real technology, but you buy high value added products from us, from the developing countries, from Western worlds. So your economy, you always spend less, but make less money. You spend more, you always spend more to buy from us, but you sell less. So you will never outcompete these Western governments, Western countries. This is the trap that colonialism, neocolonialism has set on the developing countries. But China, through its own experiment developing itself, escaped the trap. Now climbing up on this ladder, able to have some of the world's cutting edge technology, either it's AI or space stations in every field. So that means it's possible that developing countries can escape this trap. So I know I'm being off the topic. So go back to your question. So does it matter? Is Donald Trump? What's the relationship between China and the USA? Doesn't matter. China is willing to do trade and business with the United States because, let's face the reality, doing trade and economy is beneficial to people around the world. Not only to people in China and the United States, it's also good for the entire world because other countries don't want to choose a side. Most countries want to do business with both China and the United States. They don't want to choose one. So if China and the United States peacefully coexist, it benefits the whole world. And China said that all out. China's leaders said that repeatedly again and again, showing their friendliness. If you want to be friends with us, we'll be friends with you. But don't think you can talk down to us. Don't think you can just bully us, because Chinese people is like, if you show us respect, we will respect you as well. But if you talk to us like you're in a higher moral high ground, you want to bully us, China will never back down. China will not kneel. This is the spirit of Chinese people. The same with this.
We have Li Jingjing with us. She's a political analyst and she's joining us from China. So, Li, before the break, we were talking about some complicated kind of relationships, and there's another complicated relationship in the world today, that is of India and Pakistan. And especially, we saw during this recent war how these two nuclear powers were facing each other, and then Pakistan totally dominated the war. We gunned down their five planes also, and the whole world saw the power of Chinese equipment in this war, and the whole world also saw how China supported Pakistan. So, what do you think about the future of this relationship between India and Pakistan?
For me, truth be told, really hope there will be no conflicts either among India or Pakistan or with China. I really hope we can all peacefully coexist for like a much longer time. Actually, I just posted a video on my X account, telling more people, the hatred between Indians and Pakistanis are not natural. It's carefully engineered. It's carefully engineered by the British colonizers. And so instead of asking why there's a fire, we need to ask who lit the match. So I think it's important to recognize we understand there are conflicts and there are differences among different countries. But who is really benefiting from these conflicts? Definitely not the people in these countries. And especially if we want to get rid of the old world order, old system where Western colonizers that really never really left, if we want to change that, we need to work together. So it's important to put aside our differences and start to work together. Pakistan has been China's best friend, iron brother, for a long time. And there are a lot of people in China supports. China has 1.4 billion people. I'm sure there are different opinions. A lot of people are supporting Pakistan, and there are probably a lot of people supporting India too. But the thing is, no one really benefits from this conflict. And I think there are some good trends that are happening, which is, for example, just yesterday, the Foreign Minister of India met with the Chinese leaders, and they both sides, both Indian side and Chinese side, said, "Well, we need to put aside our differences and peacefully coexist with each other." And Pakistan, our best friend, our brother, there's needless to say. So, and with this BRICS, India is part of BRICS system. Pakistan is a partner, and we have multiple organizations that China and India work together. Pakistan, China, India all work together through Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is a cooperation mechanism for Central Asian countries. So even though we have conflicts, we still work together. This conflict didn't stop us from working together. This is a good thing. And I think we need to find a solution to put our differences aside and see the bigger problem we're facing is how some Western countries sow the seed of hatred among all of us.
And finally, my last question is also very important. It is about one of the biggest conflicts that we have seen in recent times, and that is the Israel-Palestine conflict. So we've seen that all the Western countries, majority of the Western countries, are behind Israel, and their governments are behind Israel, while the people they have a totally different stance, and common people all over the world are supporting mostly Palestine. Now, if we see China, we've seen that China has always spoken in favor of the Palestinian people. So, what do you think China can do in order to end this conflict?
Thank you. And I would like to say people in China really relate to Palestinian people and understand Palestinian people, and they really support the legitimate right of Palestinian people. And our leaders, Chinese leaders, have been doing a lot at the world stage to help Palestinians to survive. So Israel has violated the UN charters to start the war. So I mean, Chinese people supported. I mean, if you go through Chinese social networks, you will see a lot of Chinese people saying, you know what, seeing what Palestinian people going through reminds of what Chinese people been through during this Japanese invasion during the World War II. So a lot of people understand that. And now what Chinese leaders are doing, first we look at the UN conference. Chinese ambassadors at the United Nations has been one of the loudest voice to speak up for the rights of Palestinian people. And also, I'm not sure whether many people know that, just last year, the 14 factions of Palestinians came to Beijing to meet together to sign a Beijing declaration. The 14 factions in Palestine, they agree, you know, we put aside our differences. We need to build a unified Palestine first if we want to restore our sovereignty. And they don't trust any other countries. They only trust China. They only trust Beijing. All of them came to Beijing to sign these Beijing declarations to unify their goal to build a unified Palestine. That says a lot. That speaks volume. And also the world knows how China brings Saudi Arabia and Iran together to agree on peacefully coexist with each other. And China has been also delivering aid, food to people in Palestine. So this is the thing. China is doing everything that is possible to help. China supports the two-state solution to stop the unjustified treatment towards Palestinians. So that's what China is doing. But again, China adhere to peace. China is not an interventionist. China will never militarily intervene in any other country's issues. I think that's one of the reasons why many other countries, no matter what background, what religion, what the government style they are from, they all trust China exactly because of China's neutrality in all these issues.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks a lot for your time. That was quite a discussion, and I hope that our viewers have learnt a lot from this discussion that we've had today. नाजरीन, आज के प्रोग्राम में इतना ही. आपसे अगले प्रोग्राम में फिर मुलाकात करेंगे. उस वक्त तक के लिए इजाज़त दीजिए. अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.